Welcome to the Wholeness Principle. Wholeness, which is holiness, what it is to be holy, to gather all of your fragments, reintegrate them, and fill the cracks with gold. This is a conscious process on behalf of the individual soul. When souls are not advanced enough yet to understand that this is the journey that they are on, they are living out lives as fragments, just playing the role of an archetype, acting out a scene in the human drama. And this is perfectly fine. This is how the wholeness of the step in evolution that is the human being comes about. We act out every possible character. Everything that can be separated does separate. But it all comes back to one. This recent Gemini new moon I'm sure it was not coincidental that I was getting all of this information about the silver cord right before it, because I guess it occurred at a place in the sky known as the Silver Gate, on the cusp of Taurus and Gemini. This is the gate of new things coming into the material world from the spiritual realm. It's the gate of incarnation. Its opposite is at Scorpio Sagittarius, Ophiuchus as well. And that's the Golden Gate. The Silver Gate is where it's the gateway of man. And the Golden Gate is the gateway of the gods. I really don't try to think in terms of either or. I mean, that is what non-dual consciousness is, and that is what being whole does to your mind. There is no either or. Everything that exists, nothing within it contradicts. Everything complements. There's never a piece that is too splintered, a fragment that doesn't fit somewhere. Ever. This point in time on Earth, however, in the storyline that is humanity, and that is your individual story, as our lives are a beginning, a middle, and an end. We are acting out a story, whether or not we ever become aware of it, whether or not we care. We are a story, within a bigger story, within a... and the natural progression well, think about even the Old and the New Testament. At some point there is a massive ending and a big new beginning. And there is this choice point right now that I can't get away from. And even, like, I cannot choose out of this perspective. It is the larger story right now. That there is an old world and an old story that is ending. And I am caught between mourning the old world and people that I love that are going to die in that old world. And then this excitement for the new world that many of us see coming, that many have seen coming for a long time. Okay, again, the cosmic scale of time is far beyond the individual human life, and usually the difference between living the old story and being capable of entering the new story is your perception of the scale of time and how your life fits into that framework, that larger bird's eye view framework. Because when our perspective is small, when we are just playing out a role as an archetype, it is mechanical. You go through the motions. And you know what? There's really nothing to mourn, because everybody is doing what they want to do. Everybody is in the story that they want to tell, even if they think they're not. I think part of the bigger story right now is Chiron, the wounded healer, and the victimhood and the martyr hero complexes, the more complex versions of narcissism that are occurring. When the ego starts to recognize that it is irrelevant, its role is irrelevant, that's the beginning of the end of the old story. And if you're too attached to the old story, you won't see the dawn of the new story at all. And it's really, really, really hard to see people lost to, I guess I am just going to call it narcissism. They cannot see anything but whatever they have control over. They cannot surrender to anything outside of themselves. They can't submit to any larger truths. and give way for greater perspective. The attachment to the old story is too strong. And that is to live on the tree of death. That is the mechanics inside of you, the karma. Karma is mechanical consciousness. Just that's why it's so dangerous to find yourself caught in loops, repeating the same conversations with people, even though you find new people, new places, it's the same story that's being told, the same dialogue, the same, okay, that is getting caught in the life of a shell, okay? We have this, there's the tree of life and there's the tree of death. And the tree of death, I mean, it sounds a lot scarier than it is in actuality to me. I mean, I don't know. Okay, let me take a moment to recognize that there is no coming to consciousness without pain. Awareness is painful. That's why you have to ease into new information. I'm on an entire lifelong journey of nothing but spiritual growth. It's like karmic stories, especially love. I think maybe, there's always going to be a story our life is telling, and there's a central theme. So my mechanical patterns, my archetypal loops, scripts, etc., are spelled out in my chart, and I know how to recognize them now and not fall for the charm of them. There is going to be a charm and a level of comfort because the roles are what you're used to. You're used to playing a character that somebody else, that has been written for you. And that's why I say it's so ironic that people call astrology the thing that is denying free will, when astrology is the window or the tools for your use of free will and getting away from all of these mechanical scripts. Yeah, the astrology will show you the scripts you've been playing. It will give you a glimpse of a pattern. And here's the benefit of having a short life in the cosmic scale. Okay? That little glimpse of a pattern that you are repeating mindlessly until you become aware. The only change available to you is slight, it's incremental. When you realize just how powerful, or exactly where your power lies, okay? It's tiny. So sometimes it feels like the weight is huge. Like yes, the whole universe turns around our ability to become conscious and to make conscious choices. However, on the individual level, the choices you have are so tiny. Like for me, I've been going through I will not call it depressed, since we've started seeing depression as a disease, which I think is bullshit. We become depressed for reasons. And it's a karmic, mechanical loop that we fall into, and we have to make little choices to get out of. or recognize what our depression is about and allow it. Okay? I mourn things because I don't just think this, but this is the side. Okay, I talked about animal love in my previous video, which is physical on the masculine side and emotional on the feminine side. It is lower love, okay? But we have a lower body and an upper body. Are your legs less important, or are they inferior to your arms? I'm not talking about bad and good when I say lower and higher. But, I mean, and there are, let me continue with that thought. But recognizing where the benefits are and the traps are of both the lower and the higher things. That's what we have to do. So, animal love is when you physically bond or emotionally bond with another, and then it is your body that mourns, and it is your physical body and your emotional body. And that is a very sacred process that needs to be allowed. So lately, though, it just feels like my mourning is for like multitudes, or even just all the traumas of the past, which we are now addressing and rectifying. And even just the awareness of all the pain of awareness that people are going through. Like, I tell people that try to come into my life, anybody that comes into my life, I mean, it is hard to be near me. And I finally understand just how difficult a person I am to just grow and be with, because it doesn't stop for me. My awareness doesn't take breaks. It never really has. And it's been very hard for me to understand how many breaks people need from the process of becoming more conscious. I have learned to become more quiet, to create other spaces to put all of this stuff. But if you are near me, it's about growth. I am not going to indulge things, and I'm going to call things out, and I'm going to expose patterns that are negative, and I will discontinue relationships. But usually, relationships naturally just disperse with me. Right now, I think I'm talking about this because, oh gosh, there's never just like a thing happening. There's always, the universe is always spinning all of these plates, okay? And awareness hurts because, I mean, you're realizing, you're waking up to the fact that you are just a little player being spun by the spheres. But you are also the thing behind that play. That is watching the play, coordinating the play, participating, and delighting in it. Venus opposite Pluto, all about relationships. That's today. That's right now. Venus is opposite Pluto. Let me read you this quote, okay? When Venus and Pluto come together, love is not going to be polite and decorative and pleasant. Relationships become the driving force of revelation, evolution, change, transformation. Hidden currents beneath things that have to move. The movement of these spheres is inevitable. The bridge that we're at right now between old world and new world, every conscious particle of this universe is going to the new world, and the old world is passing away. And that's going to mean everything, just like 2,000 years ago. This is my very ancient Bible that belonged to my first stepdad. That world is gone. It's like every layer of time just becomes a line of sediment for the future to excavate and observe and understand as their line of descent. But it all passes away. The old is the food for the new. That's what transformation means. Pluto, the planet of transformation, is taking the old and bringing in the new. I don't know why we see Pluto as only like this destructive force. Why is it, if it is rebirth and transformation, why is it not also new life and celebration? It's like we are smack dab in the middle of what I'm calling the Gemini epoch. This is the Gemini new moon we're coming off of at the Silver Gate. Whatever that means yet, which I'm still processing. And the mass orientation is towards just the negative aspects of transformation and the fear, the hanging on to the old stories. And I think it's just so much bigger than I thought. Where people are stuck, so many more people are stuck looking backwards on the bridge. And that itself has been frightening to me. So this concept of like, just turn around. Like, sometimes, I am incredibly weak. I am weakened in general. And even this morning, as I was trying to look forward to the day in bed, I was like, what is keeping me going? Why? I realized that I lately and for a long time, It's like you just get these little waves of strength. And because they just keep coming, I take every single one I can. Just whatever wave of strength that you get, just take it and surrender to the entire rest. But you have to orient yourself to a new story. There's going to be so much of the old story that is pulling at you, trying to make you feel guilty, trying to brainwash you, trying to pressure you, and anything. I say that, and meanwhile here I am pressurizing, like, turn around, and I do pressure. So maybe that's my own like giving into old ways, kind of. But no, I do pressurize sometimes, because that's me living up to the golden rule. I wish more people in my life, especially authority figures, had put more positive pressure on me, like EUSTRESS on me, good stress. But at the same time, we are coming out of a toxic productivity culture. And most of the EUSTRESS that has been put on me has come through the negative, through being shamed for dilly-dallying, or, really living into what I know to be my new orientation. So maybe I've just known my way this whole time, and the teachers have all disappeared. But if there is a longing in me, it's for like some kind of positive pressure from a mentor. So that is what I give people that come close to me in life. So even like in my last video when I said, I'm looking for someone, I'm looking for something in people that I have never seen before. It's this. It's devotion to a higher path of some kind, to creating the world that we want to see, instead of lamenting what is, like coming from a place of acceptance of what is. And as much non-judgment as you can do, while also becoming that creator, operator, destroyer. Like, you have to have discernment. You have to know what goes with the old world, what gets destroyed, what is chaff, what does not belong in the new world. Some of that is going to be your own past behaviors, attitudes, emotions, not whole categories of emotion, again, because the new world, this new path, is not one that eliminates half of the rainbow. We're not going to not have anger. We're not going to not have depression, sadness, malaise. Acceptance of everything means acceptance of everything. And just right use of every energy. skill in the use of every energy. I mean, I feel like that's what the archetypes are all doing as they're playing these mechanical roles. Just, that is growing souls practicing handling all of the energies of existence. And you see collectives playing out certain things, certain emotional dramas. Like, it's like a classroom. Everyone's singing off tune together, like out of tune together. And then one soul at a time, we are offered this narrow path. Maybe it's an individual silver gate out of the territory of Gemini, which is duality. Into the river of light, which is the Milky Way. That's what lies between this silver and golden gate. It's the Milky Way. It's I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to know how to relate to anybody in the coming years or the rest of my life who doesn't know how to work with the analogy of the stars. And I do see the stars as an analogy. I see them as, or if they're to be interpreted literally at all, I see them as literal holes in the sky. I read recently about, I think it was written as or I read it as a Cherokee myth that we came here through holes in the sky as sound waves. And a long time ago, I found this drawing of a Native American man and woman, and they're both looking kind of off to the side and up, and they both have these feathers attached to the sides of their heads, but they look like headphones. It was just a little pencil drawing that's framed that I found at a thrift store, and I bought it because they looked like headphones more than anything. And that is the way in which this entire universe is vibration. It's like some kind of metaphor that became tangible reality. Even the symbol for the north and south node, they look like little headphones. We are always listening for something. Even if you literally can't hear, you can feel vibrations. But if anything, maybe this turning around right now, getting turned around, is about getting some good noise canceling headphones for the old stories. Just shut them. The image in my head nonstop is just shut the book. Here's the book you're reading. You're obsessively going over a certain passage. Your emotions are all entangled. Shut it. Move on. If it's making you miserable in any way, shape, or form, shut it and move on. You don't need to say goodbye to the characters. You don't need to make any announcements. You don't need to do anything. But shut it and move on. reorient to whatever wave of strength that comes, to whatever you glimpse on a distant land that gives you hope, that makes you excited. And that's it. That is refusing to be part of the chaff, refusing to remain as fruit on the tree of death. And I hate to use the stark this or that metaphors, but again, we are smack dab in the middle of the Gemini epoch. So even coming out of duality has a duality to it. And just for fun, I'm going to end this very long video with a kitty cat card. The funny kitties. Okay? Because I think we've all had enough. Here's a Gemini card, if there is one in this deck. Flexibility. Stretch your limits. What's on the bottom? Embrace the unknown. Mystery. That is what we are getting oriented to. Something we can't even conceive of yet. If anything, let the story in your head be a book of blank pages.